Well, doesn't sound like you did a lot of. You want to put your headphones on? We'll get started. I mean, if we're let's just fire this one out.
Okay.
I know something we can talk about.
Okay. All right.
But before we talk about it, I mean, I guess it may not be totally like in the nerd geek spectrum. It's its own subset. But we did sit through that AEW pay-per-view last weekend.
We did sit through that pay-per-view. That is something that
we
did
have some
happen.
very differing opinions on it. But
We do.
Before that, I wanted to say that I sat through 8 episodes. Was it 8 episodes or 6 episodes? It's hard to remember. Of this new show called Sweet Tooth that was on Netflix.
I have no interest in watching that show.
It's based off of... I was interested because it's one of the first shows based on a comic book that I have not read the comic first. I used to see it on the stands. I think it came out way back when I was working for what's-his-face, Mike, at his comic book store. And then over the years, I would read it. I would see it. I never really read it. It didn't look like my cup of tea. But I saw that they were making a live-action show on Netflix and that it's produced by Robert Downey Jr. and his wife, which also made me interested because it's like I don't know what else they've produced in, over the years. But this seemed like somebody got a hold of the comic and really liked it and whatever. So I'm like, all right. I watch it. It's good. Yeah. It's really good. It's very timely, too. It's like pandemic. A pandemic hits.
Oh, wow.
Kills almost everybody. And at the same time, these hybrid babies start being born. These animal, like everyone that has a baby after this pandemic breaks, there's no normal children born anymore, I don't think. And they all have like these like half animal features to them or partially animal features to them. And it's just this journey of this. I mean, it's got good actors in it. It's got a great, like compared to Jupiter's Landing, that's also on Netflix. Like the difference is night and day. Like the visuals, everything looks like it's supposed to be. Everything on the screen looks like it's in the world, So you're not like, oh my God, that looks so fake or whatever. Like some of Jupiter's Landing did. And when you do post-apocalyptic, or when society's starting to break down, it's easier to make a broken down thing or a rusting thing or a building overgrown with... Those things exist. Yeah. And we know what they look like, and you can make... When you starting to make like the superhero stuff, some of that stuff, or when you start recreating like period piece stuff digitally, it doesn't look as good. But this was really good. I don't. You haven't seen it. I don't know how to sell you on it other than like.
Well, you've sold me on it more than anything else had. Just that short description. I didn't know about any of that shit.
Yeah, it's good. I think your wife's gonna love it. Obviously, because it's a cute little boy with deer horns.
Yeah.
And deer ears. Like the ears.
Oh my God.
Are like. He doesn't have like regular ears. They literally come out of the side of his head at that sideways angle, and they flicker and flit around, and they're all fuzzy and whatever. So he's very cute. But it's like I don't want. This is like a non-spoiler thing because
we rarely do.
Well, for you haven't seen it yet, so it's hard to like. If you do watch it and whatever, I
heard it's very Spielberg-esque.
I mean, a little
in places,
bit like that. Yeah. I mean, that at times, because there's a young child in it, it's got that like that 80s Spielberg kids movies thing to it. But Will Forte, is that?
Oh, okay, Will Forte.
He plays his dad in it, who raises him out in the middle of nowhere.
Good old MacGruber.
Yeah. He's one of those characters that doesn't live very long, but then keeps reappearing as like,
he's Uncle Ben,
as memories of and learning lessons, stories that you think back on, and yada yada. So it's really really good. They cliffhung it so fucking hard, like you don't end a season unless you really are confident you're gonna get the go ahead for another season.
Wait, isn't? Oh yeah, you said the Downies. Okay, I was like, for some reason, the second I said I heard it was real Spielberg, I was like, oh, he automatically must be involved in some way.
No,
It just,
I don't think he is.
No, I don't think.
I didn't look.
Not with the Downies. Probably got their. I mean, Downies are shit. They're their own little fucking
Are they?
economy.
I don't know. Dude, they don't. They're not making it with their own money.
I think they did. I think they helped produce the last movie he did that everyone hated.
The Dr. Dolittle?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think they were involved in that. They may be involved in some of the Sherlock Holmes stuff. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I really do.
I'm sure he gets a producer credit on a lot of things he's in.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he actually did any producer work, other than
what he does you get in the role.
It's a lot of times it's just a way to pay you more. You get you're going to get a producer credit. You get a point,
Well, is Downey like a guy like Tom Cruise who runs around with his own writers and shit?
His own writers?
Yeah, that's the thing with Cruise. Like, oh yeah, well, you'll give Cruise something to look over. He's, but my writers want to do this and this with it, kind of thing.
I don't think so. I think Downey's more of a just give me the broad strokes and I'll ad lib it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's writing and rewriting and stuff. Maybe in his old age he is, but I don't think he is.
His old age? He's not that old.
Well, but he's had like a 30-year career in Hollywood.
And he's gone from each end of the spectrum in that career.
I watched Less Than Zero the other day. That movie's those movies are so dated now. Some of those 80s movies. But that one was that was a crazy movie. It wasn't bad though.
I can't get past the fact that you're putting your elbow right on your cell phone screen.
Why?
I don't know. I'm like, don't crack.
Well, I'm not supporting my weight with it. How heavy do you think my arm is?
I don't know, but you just now transferred to regular people clothes.
Oh, you son of a bitch, piece of shit.
I'm just looking out for you, buddy.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's a really good show. I don't want to talk about it though if I'm the only one that's seen it because that's a boring conversation.
Before we started this, we were talking about the Jupiter's Legacy being canceled by Netflix. And that the cast is all upset about it. And Mark Miller's already been promised all this shit. They're even talking about a prequel. They're already talking about different shows within the same universe, but you canceled the first of that. I'm like, that's not a good look.
Yeah, I think they're suffering from giving him too much power. Also, a different FX house or something made that show look a little crummy to me. Maybe the team that worked, like I said, the team that's done stuff on Netflix for say Umbrella Academy, or Stranger Things,
or any numerous better shows.
Yeah, they just look better.
Yeah,
this looked like it was rushed, or they hired the lowest bidder or something. I don't know.
It definitely felt like this is like the equivalent to some of the DCCW stuff. And it's I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying we've moved on from that.
Yeah.
And
no.
Yeah.
No, Superman and Lois has better effects than Jupiter's Landing does.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
So, take that for what you want. But
well, I know what I saw in Jupiter's Legacy, and I was like, yeah.
I think the writing could also, other than it just looking a little, the writing could have been better. And I think if Mark Miller is going to be running that studio, that little sub studio inside of Netflix that's for his creations, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I think he needs someone that writes for TV, episodic TV, or has a showrunner or something. I don't know.
He needs to partner with somebody that can insinuate his weaknesses.
I thought they had a showrunner, but I guess if the buck stops with you still, then anyone working under you is going to do what you want. It just felt like it needed some no people in there. It felt like and I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong on this. I haven't really researched this. It's not our forte on this show is to do research, but it felt like they just did what he wanted to do, and there was not an overseeing force to kind of be no. or this is going to work better, or
Yeah.
or we don't like we don't like what we're seeing. We're going to take this and go in. I don't know, but I think that some of his other books, may be better suited for Netflix series than this was. I wasn't sure of this one when I heard that it was going to be the first one to begin with. I read the comics, but I wasn't in love with the comics. I think some of his other stuff is probably going to be better.
I just know what I
So
saw.
we'll see.
I'm not surprised it got canceled.
Yeah.
I'm not
And I
at
don't
all.
care either.
Yeah.
I listen, to be honest with you, there's so much fucking shit being made between all of these fucking streaming services. Even like CBS has some good stuff, and
The content wars are strong.
NBC on Peacock. I mean, they're all making stuff now. It's like I don't have time to watch it all.
Yeah.
And I try and watch it all.
And if you're 2 episodes in on something and you're like, like that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good. To compete, you got it's always got to be quality, and it's unfortunate because some stuff is not bad, but not bad doesn't cut it.
Nowadays,
today's content
yeah,
wars.
you don't get.
Yeah.
It's not 3 networks, and maybe there's a handful of shows between 3 networks that are things I'm interested in. Now.
Mediocrity doesn't get picked up.
Now it's there's so many. The problem is that even if it was still just the 3 or 4 networks, the broadcast networks, that they make more shows geared towards what I'm interested in now. They make more fantastical stuff and sci-fi stuff and horror stuff than, like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They didn't make and barely any of that shit. So even if it was just those 4 networks, I would be having a problem keeping up. But then Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and CBS and whatever else. CBS is. I've watched several shows on there already, mostly the Star Trek thing. But there's too much. So anytime something gets canceled, I'm okay with it. I'm a little annoyed if I've watched it through and in my mind been like, I could watch another season of this.
Yeah.
Then I'm a little annoyed. And I think Netflix rug pulls us a lot with that, where they're like, we're just not going to do anymore. And I understand. I don't understand it. I don't know what their algorithms are, like how it works. I assume they know what they've spent on the show and they know they need to have X number of views of it consistently through. They probably, what it is? A good indicator probably is like if the drop offs between like the first few and it's almost like box office weeks.
Yeah.
Like if people are watching the first episode and then if they're not holding the audience through the whole thing, that's probably a sure sign to let it go. Let it go.
Yeah. And with the money they're spending on some of this stuff, you definitely have to be able to keep the attention.
Yeah.
And
but there's a lot of shows I'm happy they have continued. Like Lock and Key is really good, and that's I don't know if you saw that, but that's based off a comic written by Stephen King's son. It's really good. Joe Hill, I like all of his stuff.
Yeah.
I wish they would. I know some other projects are being made of his work. He's not nearly as prolific as his dad, who churns out 3 books a year. But he does work in comics, which is kind of cool. Which probably takes a lot of his time. So Netflix has a problem because they do that rug pull a lot, or they don't really envision any of their stuff really ever going past 3 seasons. Like maybe it's because salaries or something like that.
Well, let me ask you, because you watched it all the way through, and this is probably an indication that maybe their decision was correct, because I fucking still haven't seen past that first episode. Would you have given it a second season? And see,
if I did, it would have been with a ton of notes.
yeah.
If I was like the man in charge.
And I think that hesitation is why they didn't get a second season there.
I don't fault them, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to get in. I wish there was a disclaimer ahead of it, like warning: this show may be canceled by Netflix before you. I know that's not that. Obviously, if they've made it and are airing it, that they're hoping to make more.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like it gets annoying when, especially when stuff like if it was like its own little story arc, and I mean it sort of was. You always have loose ends, but you have to write a show where you have season arcs and series arcs. I think if you get into a show and you've watched however many episodes it was, and then you're like, man, I can't wait for season 2, and then they pull it out from under you like that sucks.
Yeah.
And I feel like it happens more on Netflix where they might kill a show prematurely, and it's probably all down to just their fucking science, because at the same time they will take a canceled show from elsewhere
and bring it over,
put it on their network,
2,
and then run 3 more, like Lucifer they're doing that with.
Yeah.
And it finds a whole new life, because apparently like the Netflix audience, there's no guarantee they've ever even heard of that show on network.
And it's weird because it doesn't work the other way.
No.
And it can't work the other way because of the way the contracts work. So like Jupiter's like legacy.
Well, it's not the contracts. It's not the contracts. They're not picking up a show like Lucifer unless whoever aired it, like NBC or whatever it was, has cleared everything off, or signed off, or sold off.
But like because of the situation they have with Mark Miller, like that's it for the show. You're not gonna see these characters.
Oh yeah,
again.
no, they would, because they own him basically until they get out of the Mark Miller,
which
business.
Makes it even weirder that they would do this.
Yeah, that they because they wanted to have their own IP instead of licensing Marvel's. They bought his house of ideas, to steal a phrase, and
it's like Warner Brothers working with Zack Snyder.
No, because that's their characters. It's not like that.
But
it's not like Snyder created these characters and he's under like their indentured servitude, or however you want to put it.
It's the same where his creative input is driving driving everything, and they're just kind of, they've paid him to do this.
But
and one of his first projects is like, and you're like, yeah, they might not, because listen, who cares about the characters? It's all about the creative way that you drive them.
But it's on Netflix. That's not the way Netflix. But Netflix was doing it to own IP.
But what if the next thing fails, and the next thing? Well,
then you just cut bait.
Now you got to cut bait with him entirely.
Yeah. Well, whatever. So it's not like, but it's the same as if they're making any show.
Yeah. It's definitely a chance they took with Miller.
Yeah.
Because all his other previous stuff that's worked has been in a studio's hands and not his.
I mean, I don't
know.
It's
like Frank Miller.
He has he has input.
It's like Frank Miller, because a lot of Frank Miller like directed shit is like, all right, dude, you're okay. Although I know I'm one of the very minority. I fucking loved. Holy fuck! Not the. I was gonna say The Shadow. He didn't do The Shadow.
Yeah, he did.
No, was it?
Yeah.
Mark Miller?
Oh, not The Shadow. The Saint.
Fuck! We're thinking of the same movie. We're getting it wrong.
The Saint, right?
No, it wasn't The Saint.
Spirit.
The Spirit. I love Spirit. I love that movie. That movie is hokey. It's corny. It's beautiful, and it doesn't make a fucking lick of sense a lot of the time. But goddamn, is it fun to watch? And Samuel L. Jackson just eating the screen up everywhere. He's just Scarlett Johansson at one of her hottest. Just awesome. I love that. I love that green screen, the way they did it, because it's one of the few movies where I felt it worked like Sin City, 300.
I felt like it was a little too, like they'd done it in Sin City, so it was a little derivative. It was different, but not enough different.
And it was maybe too close to when Sin City came out, where it just kind of
I just feel like that style was for Sin City. Once you do it elsewhere, it doesn't work.
It's filming style, but the way that
the graphics and
that was very similar. But I just loved the character interactions. I felt that
he writes all of his books like they're fucking 50s crime novels.
Yeah,
you know,
I love
he's like that's his love, is those ridiculous detective kind of books.
And when he gets it right, it's really well done. But then sometimes, like, he goes a little crazy.
Spirit. Why couldn't I think of that either?
I don't know. I couldn't think of it either. It's literally like, I love that movie.
Will Eisner's The Spirit. Yeah. Okay.
It's just one of the few times where I felt that, so everyone hates that fucking movie. And I'm like, well, the movie's great. I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't think it was bad. I just didn't. I don't. Honestly, I would have
it's just like when you get.
I would have to see it again.
When you get to like the top 10 letdown movies, we get those movie lists you read. Like people shit the fuck all over, and I'm like, whoa! Like it wasn't unwatchable. Like there's plenty of unwatchable shit that's been made. Okay.
I don't know the way you described it. It was
Elektra,
like,
unwatchable. Fucking the two Ghost Rider movies, unwatchable except for the fact that Nicolas Cage is an insane person.
that second Ghost Rider movie is fantastic. You're out of your mind.
I haven't seen it. To be clearly
Oh,
honest, so.
look at you
talking out of my ass.
Fucking total shit. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Yeah,
I've just seen the making of where the famous scene where he does the transformation in the church without all the editing. It's just Nicolas Cage screaming like a maniac.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I love it. I fucking love it. The actual movie I could care less about. Apparently, the big rumor is we're gonna see Ghost Rider maybe in Doctor Strange.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
Everyone's packing 10 pounds of shit in this 5
Well, it's what they do. It's what they do with all these Marvel movies and all these shows. Well, what happens when these guys show up? I'm like, well, what if it's just a self-contained thing, man? Like this Loki. Loki's there. We go. Loki's about to pop right next week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So
that'll give us something to talk about.
And I did end, and I know we talked about it a few times, but we didn't. I did finish Mighty Ducks, and I have to say that I loved that little self-contained story. It was a great callback to everything. Had some callback characters. Probably have a second season, and the Mighty Ducks are back. It's pretty cool. And of course, Emilio Estevez is awesome.
Yeah, I haven't seen the last few episodes.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
So,
what else you got?
You came over.
I did come over
last weekend, and actually suffered through a wrestling pay-per-view with me.
Oh, there! I forgot all about. We were going to talk about that. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me, you, Blake, and the wife.
Your wife.
Yes, my wife.
Not Blake's wife.
No, Blake. No. And it was. It has moments. It's. Now, having seen like WrestleMania, having seen AEW recently, like I just wrestling, what currently is considered wrestling on TV, it's not for me anymore. I don't really enjoy a lot of that shit. But there were some good moments on that show, and then there was ridiculous nonsense that I know we all enjoyed, and I enjoyed it with you. It's not wrestling, but it's fucking fun. It's funny. I listen a lot to like Jim Cornette, and I really kind of agree with him a lot. I agree with him a lot on his assumptions about today's business. It's because what drew me to professional wrestling was I loved the stories in the matches, and that doesn't matter anymore. What matters now is the stories that are being told between the matches, and the matches accentuate the stories, and that kind of entertainment doesn't really do it for me. Yeah, it's fun sometimes, and sometimes it can be entertaining, but it's not wrestling to me. It's just my opinion. But I understand where the business has gone now, and that's fine. It's evolved past.
You've literally become everybody before you. Every generation doesn't like what the new generation's doing. Every generation says Every generation says that's not wrestling.
But I can still watch it, and I enjoyed it with you guys. But at the same time, I'm like, it gives me nothing that happened made me go, I can't wait to tune in to see what's happening.
But I feel like it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work if you've
not anymore.
If you don't know, if you don't know any of the characters, you don't know any storylines, you haven't been watching. For you don't watch regularly. You come in and you watch one isolated thing, which is all the pay-per-views, the blow off for a lot of this stuff. So you don't even know what's going on. How can you go?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And they did a good job of trying to tell these stories with these vignettes. and I enjoyed the vignettes. I thought some of the vignettes probably could have went different directions, but whatever. They're, again, I don't know what's happening, so I'm just being presented with what I'm being presented with. Like the Britt Baker stuff was great, and that she's a shoot dentist out of this and her own practice and everything.
It's funny that she actually has a running business.
Yeah, like
as a dentist,
she doesn't need wrestling. She does wrestling purely because of the passion for being the best.
Well, and the fact that they're pretty much complimenting each other now, because she's luckily working somewhere where she has the time to be able to run the business. And now it's so funny that I bet you 3/4 of her clientele at least are all just wrestling fans.
Oh, 100%.
This has helped her business there. And
my dentist is Britt Baker? Yeah.
And then it's given her but it's also given her a great gimmick for wrestling.
Do you think people travel just to have dental work done?
I don't know. I mean, maybe because is she in Orlando? Is that where she's based?
I have no idea.
I mean, if her dentistry
that's a great place to have your hub if it is
I need to get my teeth cleaned or I need a root canal anyways. Why not go to Disney for 3 days and get it done while I'm on vacation?
Yeah.
And, it's just so maybe people travel for it, but it would, or maybe people or they're big AEW fans, so they're coming to watch a show on Wednesday or to go see a pay-per-view on Saturday or Sunday.
But I felt bad for her because that match was trash. And somewhere along the first
they were out of sync.
They were completely out of sync. Nothing made any sense. And really, I remember watching.
But they weren't.
What was her name? Shida. Who'd she work? I saw her work before. She worked the trans wrestler,
the big one.
Yeah, and I remember really liking that match. I thought that was the match of the show.
That's an easier. That's a. If you're talking about wrestling, that's a way easier story to tell.
I'm not talking about the story to tell.
David versus Goliath.
I'm talking like those. They beat the hell out of each other in that match, and I really enjoyed that. And everything about the lead up to this match is oh shit, this is gonna be awesome. They're gonna beat the fuck out of each other.
They couldn't go crazy in this one because the last I think Britt Baker's had too many hardcore matches in a short span now, where you don't want to make it where it's expected every time that she's going to be bleeding from.
If that's your gimmick. That's your gimmick.
It's not her gimmick. I'm just saying, but it's helped. It's been a thing that she's done a couple of those.
Unfortunately, though, Ben, if the thing that puts you over,
not hardcore, but I'm saying big spots, table things.
I get that.
Getting busted open, not on purpose or whatever. It's
well,
here's
the thing. I would have preferred a little bit more that over. Okay, this show had one thing going against it that I think we can all agree was absolute fucking nonsense. Every match had 20 false finishes.
Yeah, I feel like you and I would both agree that 3/4 of the matches went too long.
Way too long. Way too. At least, maybe a double. Maybe about 5 minutes per match at least.
I feel like this is part of the new fan base, is that they like this independent wrestling, false finishes type of stuff. It gets them worked up.
But here's the problem.
It builds this energy.
I could call most of those matches. I could call way better falsies, way better transitions, way better double downs, make the finish mean something where the fans are on their feet. And these people are just going out there and they're throwing fucking these wild. Why doesn't anyone have finishers anymore? Why are they called finishers? Nothing finishes anything anymore. Stop. Oh, it's his finish. He hasn't finished a match with that move since the time I fucking left wrestling. Okay? Some of these people, here's the one thing I loved, that Omega never hit the One-Wing Angel. Never hit it. The whole match didn't hit it. I love that. It's always set up for it.
Yeah, well,
Didn't hit it. Makes it actually mean something. But like guys like Roman Reigns, when you have 3 fucking moves and you do them 15 times in a match, you're not a professional wrestler. You're a guy who's learned 3 moves and can be fucking told when and where to place them several different times in a match. And the other guy's inherent to sell off that shit. It doesn't make you a fucking worker, it just makes you a fucking monkey. Anyone can learn to do that shit. That's why I fucking hate this new age have to have 13 double downs, gotta have 14 fucking falsies, and we're all superhuman. All of us are superhuman. The smaller you are, apparently you cannot die. That's my what's his face? Oh God, who's the guy who fucking tagged with Sting?
Darby Allin.
Literally,
Whoops.
without bumping, he's useless. He has nothing short of bumping for something. If he can't,
he's super dynamic. He has a completely unique style. His quickness and his speed are fun to watch.
he's fun to watch. I'll give him that. He's got something about him.
A lot of his movements are unique and different. I'd say 3/4 of what he does is unique to just him.
I agree.
You know, which
Better
goes
or
a
worse?
long way.
Better or
goes
worse?
a long way.
But how long can he keep that shit up in?
Oh no. This guy's he's gonna burn himself out. And he's already been injured several times.
I mean,
so.
we'll say hardcore wrestling has an expiration date on the body. We'll say all these different things and different styles have an expiration date. But whatever the fuck Darby Allin is doing has a completely different expiration date than everybody else. Because that man is still upright in 3 years, I'll be genuinely impressed.
He's a pinball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's literally the best way to describe his wrestling style is pinball. His body is his weapon.
Yeah.
And that's great. God damn. But you know, he's making it work, and he had a tag
stands
match.
out. He's over. The only thing, here's like the argument you're not gonna like.
Okay.
Is that this promotion knows its fan base, and his fan base, their fan base, this is what they want. Mm-hmm. And they are giving it to them, and they are gobbling it up, and they're happy. They're throwing money at them and saying more and more and more.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do?
From a business standpoint, you're
do?
doing exactly what you do.
Right.
But it doesn't...
You know, you're holding that. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea what this is.
So that... Here, hand it to me. I'll show it to you. That little piece of tin.
Yeah.
It's a slide to this little box. It slides over it like this as a lid.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This came, since we're talking wrestling, this came from your buddy Alex Chamberlain. When we did the convention in Miami, the first Miami Beach Convention Center.
Oh, wow.
He was rooming with me and Eric. I think Beast ended up squatting in our room. And Danielle, I think. It was a really crowded room for those tiny rooms that we had in Miami Beach. That one hotel that we were in. The rooms were ridiculously small. But he's like unpacking, and he pulls out a few of these and tosses them to us. They're like they were boner pills. They came with 3 of them in there.
Oh my god!
You see now the logo up with an exclamation point, and the top of the exclamation point, if I'm not totally crazy, is not a blunt arrow. It is a dick.
Oh my god, it is. Holy shit, I see it now.
So I've had these. They've been sitting in the back of a drawer for since that show. What was that? Like 7 years ago? 6 years
2013,
ago?
right?
I don't know. It's been a while. So I pulled it out the other day. I'm like, oh, there's a cool little container. I'll throw a bunch of little screws in there or something. I open it up. The boner pills are still in there.
Oh my god.
And they're like this nuclear red color.
Ooh.
And I'm like, well, obviously, I'm not taking gas station boner pills from almost a decade ago. So those went right into the toilet, and I flushed them.
So some alligator in a sewer just doesn't know why he has a raging erection.
It's just funny that you were playing with that. And it kind of tied into wrestling. I don't know why he had them. I think it may have been like, all these fucking meatheads have I think he was working for like GNC at the time or something.
Yeah.
So it was probably like a supplement rep tossed him a bunch and said,
That's
So,
funny.
Here, go make some friends.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah. So up with the boner exclamation point.
You know what? And I have no problem. As a business, you want to give your clientele exactly what they pay for, and they want more. And if that's what wrestling fans want, Ben, then it's inherent on AEW to do that. And every now and then, I'll get cool moments when I do watch it, but I have no reason to watch that.
You noticed the feedback of that. You saw the crowd. They were into it. They were into every false finish. They weren't falling asleep because the matches, while we thought the matches went a little long at times, they didn't have a problem with it at all.
But as a fucking former wrestler, I see 1,000 different ways to make that fucking...
What was the joke that was like, oh, no. Once the "This is awesome" chant starts, you know you're halfway through the
match. We didn't get a fight forever.
Thank God. Okay, can we talk about what we hate in wrestling? I hate...
Do we have enough time left?
Well, I'm just saying. I hate the "Fight Forever" chant and the "You Deserve It" chant.
Oh.
Those are the worst two things in wrestling.
Oh.
They're not the worst two things in wrestling. Pedophilia is pretty bad. Shit like that. But as far as for this conversation in this show, those are the worst.
Let's go as dark as possible for example.
Well, they ran the Dark Side of the Ring this week with Grizzly Smith.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
You know, first of all, I did not know that Jake the Snake was the brother of Sam Houston and the brother of Rockin' Robin. I did not know they were all siblings, that they were all Grizzly Smith's kids.
Oh, shit, I didn't know either.
Yeah. This is like, so like this whole like family, you know, and I think at one time all four of them were working for the E. Grizzly, and apparently Grizzly basically just was a pedophile.
Yeah.
Like straight up pedophile. But to the point where like, not only was he like, I think abusing his daughter, but that he like had a network on the road and families were like giving their little kids to him to take on these circuits and shit.
I don't even know if I want to watch.
13, 14
I don't know if I can stomach this, man.
And apparently a lot of what...
I'm about to have a kid.
And apparently a lot of what Jake's fucked up on is not only that his dad was like, like an unloving, uncaring, unsupportive father who like, all he did was shit on you and stuff. But that I think one of his later wives, who was like 13 or 16 at the time or whatever, was forcing Jake to fuck her.
Oh my God.
As a little kid. And, as like a 10-year-old or something. It's crazy shit.
Jesus.
It's really compelling. Like, it's really worth watching, but it's really fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense that he was a junkie for fucking 30 years and that his sister was an alcoholic and that I think their brother, Sam Houston, and they have a fourth sibling and he was given away for adoption.
Jesus.
And he was like, yeah, considering everything, it's probably best that I was given away for adoption.
Fuck.
But he looked up to Grizzly, and I think he was the adopted kid, was the one that took care of Grizzly later in life when he was on his way out.
My God.
It's crazy.
Holy shit.
It's crazy.
But, all right, I'll have to watch that.
But forget about that. Yes, pedophilia is bad. We all can establish that as a fact. But back to AEW, since there's no pedophilia on the show to bitch about, those are the two things I think would be the greatest sins of that fan base. Because they do it a lot, obviously, because they're those types of fans. But you got to say that it may not be our not everything might not be our cup of tea. I'm not a fan of things going like I would be much happier. I'm a grumpy old man now. I'd be much happier with a 3-hour show instead of a 4-hour show. One way to do that is trim down all the matches.
That pay-per-view is way too fucking long.
It's long, but if we were 20 years old, we would have wanted another 2 hours of it. You know what I mean? So again, they know their fan base. They have a live crowd. They're getting the feedback, and the feedback is, this is what we like. We want more of it. So what are you going to do? Once WWE goes to a live crowd, they're fucked.
Oh my God! I'll watch that. By the way,
they are fucked.
I'll watch that day.
I think there's a lot of people waiting, and maybe even probably some back channel coordinating to start shitting on it as soon as possible. Not so much that it's like AEW secret agent type shit where we're like we like AEW, so let's go shit on this and ruin the
What did I tell you at the beginning of all this?
But that
I told you that once Vince found out that he didn't need to have fans anymore at his shows, we might never get fans again.
There was talk of that, but they've announced the start of going live.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
They're way.
Are they selling?
They're way too much in their fucking echo chamber.
Because there's been so many cuts and so many. I mean, dude, they're.
What are they selling?
I don't know, but you cut Strowman, you cut.
Oh, selling the company. I thought you meant like, are they like? I didn't know if you meant like selling in the ring or who you were talking about.
No, they're selling the company. They got to be doing something.
There's
man.
a theory that the WWE is getting their business ready to be sold. And one of the ways you do that is by trimming the budget, cutting the number of employees down, making it as look as profitable as possible.
Yes.
And like you have to say that between the $1 billion USA and Fox contracts and the new deal with where they got a huge payday from to put their network on Peacock and the Saudi stuff, that they have a lot of money coming in. I don't think they had to I don't think they're in the red keeping all these people. And before this cut, they cut a lot of office people.
A lot of office people.
So logically, it doesn't make sense to give all the competition out there. And to a certain extent, rising tide raises all ships.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start to be the number 2 company, ratings-wise, that's a problem. So putting people like Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe, and I forget who else they cut, but I mean, like, I'd say, like, if it was
Ruby Riott, Lana,
like 7 out of 8 of the people they cut are like going to make some other company a lot of money.
Yep.
Lana is going to work out well when she's back with Rusev.
Mm-hmm.
You could say a lot of things about Lana, but you can't say that she hasn't busted her ass to get better, especially in the last 2 years. Especially since he's been gone and she's been there to like not give up.
Yeah.
And try and get out and to try and apply yourself and try and get better and work your ass off. It's a testament.
Yeah.
She's going to make someone a lot of money.
Strowman, I don't understand that at all.
The Iconics. There's some crazy stuff out there.
I mean, Strowman, like, I understand Joe.
Strowman was, I think two things. I think that they had done their terrible bookings to the point where this guy should have won the title a while ago. He didn't. That when they did put the title on him, they didn't give him a good title run. And now they've kind of done that Big Show thing with him where they flip-flopped him back and forth so many times. It's hard to take him seriously right now. And then adding choo-choo sound effects when he was running around. Like,
I'm glad I missed all this.
It was like
nonsense.
3 weeks of it. It was ridiculous. That was the point where I chose to stop watching the product on a regular basis. And the other part of it was, apparently, when he negotiated for his big deal, it was like when they were offering like peak money for people.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're paying this guy without any other royalties or sales on stuff or licensing or anything, or doing house shows, which you get paid more for, or whatever. I think he got a guaranteed contract for like over $1 million.
Damn, good
year.
for Strowman.
Yeah, but I mean, that guy's. Look at him. Look at him. I mean, come on. The funny thing is, he's gonna come to AEW.
Oh, there's no way he doesn't.
Because, well, not for the reason you think. He's Mark Henry's boy.
Yeah.
And Mark Henry just showed up at AEW. Mark Henry's going to counsel him to do what's best for him, but I think he would like to be around Mark Henry. Mark Henry was the one that recruited him from the Strongest Man stuff.
Oh, okay.
He spotted him and said, "You've got it.
Yeah.
You can do it." Strowman wasn't sure, waited 3 more years, and picked up the phone and called Mark and said, "Can you get me in?" He's like, "Yeah." Got him in the WWE. Yeah. So there's a relationship there, and now your boy is there, can put in the good word, and get you paid and get you working again.
Mark Henry's the kind of guy that can walk up to Tony Khan and go, "This is what I want to do," and it gets done.
Probably.
He's one of the few.
Well, it's funny because Tony Khan like has these a lot of these people that he's signing. He had a relationship beforehand. Like apparently he's known Mark Henry for years and had dinners and conversations, whatever. Because before he was a guy that would have been accused of tampering.
Yeah.
He was a huge fan of the fucking business.
Yeah.
And had the money to go wherever he wanted at any time and get the good seats and meet the good people and whatever.
We've known a few people like that.
Yeah. So
not with that kind of money though.
No. But like listen, if WWE comes down and they're performing in your arena,
yeah.
Obviously you can have access to anyone you want. And when you sit down and talk to them, everyone says, when I sat down and talked to Christian's known him for years too. Yeah, I sat down and talked to him. First time I talked to him, I tried to convince him to let me be the coach of the fucking Jaguars. It's like, but he's like, no, he impresses these people with his knowledge of the business. And the people that matter, don't look at him as a mark.
Yeah.
Don't look at him as a money mark. Because he's like Christian or like with Mark Henry or whatever. They have a pre-existing relationship, where they've spoken to this person and they've respect him for like whatever his encyclopedia knowledge and his passion for the business. And it's not. And listen, at the end of the day, he's not a money mark. He's not.
Oh well.
He runs. Is he paying every Jaguar that has a big name to play a team? No, they run their soccer team like fucking sports businesses. Trust me, he's running AEW like that. If he doesn't see the value in you, he's not going to keep you around. He has gotten rid of people already because he did not see the value in them. He's running it like his other sports organizations. He may be a little more personal with them and around them, hands-on, but that's because
I thought his dad ran everything else.
He's working. He had a role. He wasn't like the owner of the Jags, but he's in the company. And
same with Shane McMahon. You're in there. You're in the dirt as well as everybody else doing all the work. So,
trust me, he's not going to not fire someone because he's had a few beers with them at the end of the night. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I just know the WWE is fucking up at every possible corner. I watched what they called WrestleMania. Thought it was fucking awful. And I watched the AEW show.
Well, WrestleMania is a problem too.
Yeah.
Because now we've gone from it being like a 7-hour affair to a 2-day affair.
Yeah, it's no good.
And even if each day is only 4 or 5 hours, it's still like, it's ridiculous.
And you have no product that I give a fuck about.
Yeah.
None.
There's a few good things.
Yeah.
There's always a diamond in the rough.
I watch WrestleMania and Royal Rumble and AEW. I do this now as more of a community thing. Like Blake comes over, we all hang out. Yeah. Hang out. I don't give a fuck about the actual product at all.
Well,
don't care.
I mean, you probably enjoy shitting on it.
I really do.
I notice at times that you're just looking to shit on it. I just keep my mouth shut. But I'm I'm not going to argue with every little thing with you. But when you sit there, sometimes you start getting into it. Into the shitting on it part of it. I'm like, all right, whatever, man. Whatever makes you happy.
I caught myself a little bit a few times. I'm like, just enjoy this shit, Marco. You're not.
Yeah.
Everyone knows you dislike this.
Don't. It's fine to point out legitimate things, but when you're actively trying to ruin it for other people, that's when I'll speak up. You know what I mean? But you didn't do that. So
no, I think I catch myself before I become too far into that, and that's the thing. That's the thing about the show. On the end of the month. I'm not going to be able to sit in the crowd. Not sober. There's no way. No way.
We'll see.
No way.
We'll see. No so anyway, at AEW, I also see I don't understand. There's a couple of things I don't understand. I don't understand. There's a lot of people that I don't think they're the AEW fan base. They're the outsiders that have this like hate for Cody Rhodes and accuse him of like holding people down and taking the spotlight, whatever. I'm like,
that's ridiculous.
The dude's always in the mid card. The biggest argument was this guy he fought, Anthony Ogogo, this time around. The guy's like from Olympic. He's a Brit from Olympic boxing, and I guess he can't go anymore because he had like eye damage or something.
Yeah, like his eye socket, and he lost vision in his eye.
So he's here pro wrestling, and he's trying his best.
By the way, if that's his third match good
ever.
for him.
So this is his third match ever. And Cody won. but it wasn't like Cody won in 30 seconds. They had a 10-minute match or something like that. And it's like, so you have people online or in my, someone in one of my chats, it's like, just bitching about it. I'm like, what did you, he's like, he hurt him. I'm like he hurt his what? He's been in the business 2 seconds. He's been wrestling for a month.
See,
how realistic is it that he would beat a guy like Cody Rhodes? A guy like Cody Rhodes should have outsmarted him and rolled him up and pinned him in 20 seconds. Instead, he gave him 10 minutes. He showcased the fucking guy. The guy should have lost.
I'm not even looking from I'm not looking at this from a practical standpoint like that. Just from a purely business standpoint. If Cody's going to be that guy that just tries his best to make new stars.
They try and call him. They try to compare him to Triple H, which I think is
that's ridiculous.
It's a terrible comparison.
Absolutely terrible comparison. But if Cody Rhodes' job right now was trying to make these stars and do interesting things and whatnot, you've got to keep him hot. And because that's the only way it makes him interesting.
Yeah.
Now, should Anthony Ogogo have won this match? If this was a year blow-off kind of thing, absolutely.
Right.
But this is his third match. You actually are using...
The only reason Ogogo wins that match is because 10 other guys ran in and helped him.
You're using his inexperience in the wrestling business as part of the storyline. So, yeah, it's pretty obvious that a guy like Cody should be able to eventually outsmart someone who's stronger.
That's the thing. Because you're
maybe more athletic.
Not only are you emphasizing that this is only his third match, but then you're putting him over for it being... Can you believe only his third match? He's held in for 10 minutes with Cody.
He's not Goldberg. It's way more...
No, but I'm saying, like, that's... You get him over more.
Yeah, it's way more effective... to have a really good back and forth, a good back and forth where you get to show that stupid rib punch is dumb. I don't care what anybody says. And you can never sell that thing right. It's whatever. But
yeah, I'm not a fan of
it. He
it.
did a lot of.
Then you're all like fake blood capsules and shit like that.
I will tell you, if that's his third fucking match in front of a live crowd, watching him work, he's better than everybody in South Florida.
Right.
Congratulations. Like you took that athleticism. You took that just general.
But he's an athletic.
Yeah, minded.
He's an
guy.
Olympic athlete. Let's name some others: Kurt Angle, Charlie Haas. Or these elite level guys. Shelton not Olympic, but Shelton Benjamin, Brock Lesnar. Guys
that take to this kind of shit like fucking
or just the natural athletes. Yeah. The transition's going to be a lot easier. Look at like even like eventually Dan Severn got it. Eventually, look, Ken Shamrock's still fucking doing it over in TNA. Look.
I will tell you.
Natural
that
athletes.
The only thing about that match, and the only thing about any Cody Rhodes match that really fucking irritates me, is that really stupid tattoo.
Yeah, the neck tattoo.
I cannot. And here's a funny thing. Last night,
it's fucking retarded.
Natalia had a bunch of her coworkers over, and they got into talking about tattoos, and one girl's like, "I love a dude with a neck tattoo." She goes, "I don't even care if you have a neck tattoo. You're automatically more attractive to me." And I'm like, "Okay, hold on." Pulled up Cody Rhodes' neck tattoo. Showed it to her. I'm like, "What do you think about this tattoo?" She looks at it. She's like, "Well, that one's stupid." But I was like, "God damn! All right, cool, thank you."
I feel like the only reason to get a neck tattoo is because you've run out of real estate everywhere else.
Yeah, not where you start your real estate.
No. He has like one other tattoo. I think it's his dream for his dad. That's on like his
if that's an endpoint punctuation to a much larger piece, I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's out there in the middle of the wilderness, just all by itself.
Yeah.
It's like when you used to create characters in SmackDown vs. Raw, and you're just moving. You could just move the markings around the body, and the cursor just got stuck in the top left corner, and you couldn't move it. So you're like, fuck it. Yeah. It is what it is.
Neck tattoo it is.
Yeah. Other than that, man, people hate on Cody because Cody's doing his own thing.
I think
he's doing his own thing.
I think the detriment, but they see some things like that. He's the one that got the like game show on TNT, and he's the but TNT is the one that picks the people.
Why you shit on a man for his hustle?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Well, first of all, listen. If TNT wants to make him the face of their one of the faces of their network, who are you to decide that's not cool? It's who cares that he's on a fucking show you're not watching? Who cares? His wife I think a little bit oversteps her. She steps out of her lane.
She thinks she's way more important than she really
steps
is.
out of her lane too much. She's not a great wrestler, and sometimes what she chooses to talk about, like her promos aren't fantastic, for whatever reason. But she looks great, and she could create shenanigans ringside. I mean, that's really all.
Yeah.
She could be an office person. That's fine. But sometimes there's too much. She's not someone that really needs spotlight. I don't think that that she's like the multi kind of tool like a 5-star kind of person. She's like a 2-star.
Brandy Rhodes is never really she's never really I've never been impressed by anything she's done.
She's hot.
Yeah,
that's
well,
it. She's not a good wrestler.
Yeah, we live in South Florida. You throw a rock and hit that. So
yeah, but she's obviously with the company.
Good for her. Good for her.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of I don't know what it is, but I think a lot of people don't think Cody's as good as they book him to be. But so what?
No one's as good as they. For fuck's sakes. Do you understand that?
But the visceral reaction to him compared to the Bucks, who are tagged, of all of them, Omega's got 4 fucking titles on him. The Bucks have the titles on them. It's not like Cody has a title. It's not like Cody's.
If wrestling was real, guess what? Kurt Angle would never have lost.
It's not like
the Big Show would never have lost ever,
it's
not once.
It's not like Cody's always in the title picture. Sometimes he is, but it's not like
Shawn Michaels will never win a fight.
Yeah,
he would never have been anything if wrestling was real. That's the most ridiculous fucking nonsense available. You know what Cody does? He's put himself in a great position, and he did it by himself. He used his collateral with people. He, as a professional, built a business, made this arrangement with a bunch of friends. They did this whole AEW thing. They got Jericho on board to be the name that helps drive the thing. And Cody Rhodes is a smart businessman, has put himself in great positions, and has afforded himself a great life away from the traditional way of doing it. Fuck everybody. If you're mad about that, it's because you're not smart enough, good enough, or whatever enough to be that successful, and you're just angry. Fuck you. Don't care.
Yeah.
Like, everyone shits on Hunter. Like, all right, you're just pissed because you didn't think of it. That you didn't put yourself in those positions.
I don't even know what Hunter's deal is these days, but
I'm just talking about. I feel
like now it's gonna be interesting to see what happens when the old man finally sits the fuck down and shuts up. Once Vince sits down and shuts up, I would love to see Hunter run it like he tries to run NXT.
Yeah,
and run everything.
And a lot of that early stuff was so good.
And see where we are.
God, that early NXT stuff was so good.
They still do a much better job there than.
Well, I don't even have to. I can imagine, yeah, because it's the problem.
Especially since their whole crop gets picked all the time, you know.
Yeah, and if they're putting choo-choo sound effects in the fucking Raw broadcast, that means Vince went back to the early '90s in his mindset, and that's not good for anybody. That's no good.
In your house,
we're gonna get gobbledygook fucking heavyweight champion here. It's funny too. It's just like AEW is making a conscious decision to not only make their belts mean something, but other people's belts.
Right.
In the WWE, a belt is literally a thing that can or cannot be handed to you at any given moment.
Yeah, the Lucha Brothers had the AAA one for a while. Kenny Omega right now has everyone's belts, which is kind of cool. And it's good for those brands because apparently that probably implies he's appearing on their product as well.
Maybe you know something I don't because you're way more involved in this, but I had heard somewhere that this thing with Omega may end up with a thing with Punk. But I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if they keep Omega where he's at. Like, it seems logical because Punk's a guy who's one of the only other guys in recent memories had real success as that guy. But I think
Punk's done.
I also think he's done.
I think you could see him doing it with Samoa Joe.
Oh, bring back old Joe, like Ring of Honor Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that. I can see that.
Or I think maybe a New Japan guy knocks him off.
I haven't watched enough New Japan to know any of that.
I haven't either, but he's got one of their belts.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's the belt, right? Or is it the Gaijin belt?
I don't know.
Oh.
That's more research than I'm willing to do.
It'd be
right now.
interesting if he had the belt.
I'd love for like Okada to show up.
Because to be honest with you, the New Japan belt, the belt, is the only belt that matters in this world right now, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to wrestling. It's the only belt that's held its prestige over all these years. So if it's the belt, then that could be really, Okada. Oh man, that'd be awesome. That would be fucking awesome. Does Tanahashi still work?
Yeah, I think so.
Because he's like, but then, you know what? Those Japanese guys, they wrestle well into their 50s on these big shows.
Well, they just had. Who was it?
I didn't watch.
God,
Wrestle
I can't
Kingdom this
even.
year.
I can't. No. I'm saying they just had a guy from New Japan over, like one of the guys in his 50s, one of the old timers. I forget his name. God, I'm so bad with names. But he just wrestled Mox. I think Mox had a belt in New Japan for a moment too. I mean, it's better for the company to like loan those guys out and let them work elsewhere. And if you win someone else's belt, that's just an accolade. It just makes your people look good. I mean, it's not like, here's the thing. It's not like AEW has a ton of belts. They got 3? They got tag belt. Okay, they got they got tag belt, a men's belt, a women's belt, and a TV belt.
And their 6-mans are coming, I think.
Well, but here's my point: is that like if you want more guys to have a thing, if you can have one of them win another company's belt, it kind of like raises another person. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And every other non-Japanese company is inherent to have their belt shown on someone else's TV, because like an Impact or MLW, nobody gives a fuck about you.
Well, I don't think New Japan runs as often either.
They don't have to.
My point is that their people are available to do stuff.
Oh yeah,
or the belts available to be loaned out.
Is there travel restrictions and that kind of shit?
I think there's I think there's some big ones right now.
There might be more interaction if the travel restrictions went back to something that's manageable.
Well, they were saying like only 2% of the people in Japan are vaccinated.
You might even see an Okada by now had COVID not hit.
Maybe. It'll be interesting. I mean, that's the thing. It's like they have the NWA Women's Champion popping in and out all the time. I mean, that
was one of the best matches on the card. That was pre-show.
Thunder Rosa.
Yeah. No, not Thunder Rosa. Who'd we see? Was it Thunder Rosa?
Wasn't it her against the little Japanese girl?
Yeah. Okay. It was.
Rio.
Yeah.
The one that Kenny Omega wrestled when she was like 8 years old.
Oh, that's right.
He has those 2 matches: the one where he wrestled the blow-up doll and the one where he wrestled her.
Cornette hates that man so much. I love it.
I don't know. Listen, Cornette.
I just love to be entertained by him. A lot of his stuff he says, I'm like, you're just crazy old and just out of touch. But okay, it's still funny because Jim Cornette.
Most of it, but I do like. I'll listen to Jim Cornette less. I really don't need his take on current anything. Like his take on current stuff, you can.
Oh yeah,
he could shove all of it up his ass. I don't take any. I don't care about any of his take on.
I can agree with that. As someone who listens to him,
but he's been around the business. I will listen to his stories of what happened in the past all the time.
But like when he talks about new stuff and he recalls something, when he's just like, if they just done this instead or something like this instead, I'm like, yeah, that would have been a way simpler and a way more effective way of going about it. But it's not even hindsight.
It is hindsight because he's criticizing it after it happened.
Yeah, because he's just like, if any idiot in the room knew what they were doing about the wrestling business, they would have suggested this and it would have been done.
We'll see. I mean,
and I know that we're all just armchair booking, and I understand that. But, like, I like to think I know what makes a good fucking wrestling match work. And 28,000 fucking bad false finishes aren't it. 3 or 4 well-placed good ones are. And I think that the fan base that thinks they like this shit, they like it because it's what's available. The second someone were to come over and just give them, like, a really, really, really solid classic, they go, we also love this, too.
I think you have all flavors of Baskin-Robbins out there right now. And that people can choose what they like. And the AEW people have chosen this.
Okay.
They could go watch MLW for that. They could go watch NWA. They could go watch Impact. They can go watch New Japan. They can watch WWE. They can watch NXT. And they're all very different products. So the opportunity to find what suits you is there. and to cater to specifically what you like.
Or just get the wait. No, there's no more network. It's all on Peacock, isn't it?
I mean, but it's the network. It's just on Peacock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, get yourself Peacock and just watch old shit.
Yeah, the
that's what I
stuff that's
do.
still there that they didn't delete for
Oh God, that's right.
NBC reasons.
Ugh. Fucking Christ. Everyone's too sensitive. It's okay.
There's no.
Although I do want to say before we end all this, Sting. Well done, Sting.
Yeah.
Well done. Because you put yourself fucking at risk and it
So-
didn't pan out like the buckle bomb.
Yeah. Right. Well, because I think they're smarter here.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they're not gonna put him in that kind of jeopardy. Or if he suggests it, people are gonna go no.
No. You're a 65-year-old man. No.
He's 62, but
Oh.
it's still very fucking impressive because most 62-year-olds do not look like that, do not move like that. He has had plenty of time off. It's like he's wrestled every day up to this, so there's less mileage on his body than other 62-year-old professional wrestlers. But he did a really good job. For the most part, he didn't look like a slow old man, which is great. I think the idea with him really is what they're doing, which is every week on the TV show, they fly him out. I assume he doesn't live in Atlanta. I think he lives in California, but maybe he's got a place here on the East Coast. I don't know, but I think they fly him in. He basically comes out with Darby. Half the time he doesn't even speak or do anything other than stand there. And he gets paid. Sometimes he'll tussle. Sometimes he'll hit someone with a bat or be the enforcer or keep things a little more even. Sometimes he'll take a few. He'll get beat up by people, but he's not really taking bumps. He's fake punches and fake kicks. Then what? 4 times a year he's going to have a match, and what? 2 of them are going to be live, and 2 are going to be cinematic things where they can do another take.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to keep his body super healthy. I don't think he's going to wrestle on TV much. I think the less you give of us of him, even if he's on TV every week, the less you give him, you're still almost booking him like he's Sting when the NWO was going on, where he was in the rafters all the time and he never wrestled.
Yeah.
He would rope down, beat some people up with a bat, but that was it. He had like so many dates and so many. I don't know what the over-under is on how many times they're going to have him wrestle a year. I say it's 6. That's the max. He'll wrestle a year. And that way you can keep all of his matches will be very special. Maybe you get 1 on TV, 4 on pay-per-views, and most of them are going to be tag matches.
Or multi-man affairs of some sort.
Right.
Yeah. 4 ways, 5 ways, whatever.
Yeah,
They
I
do.
don't think he
might get the 6. He might do the 6-man stuff once they move those titles. There'll be different ways you hide him.
Yeah, we'll see about these one-on-ones. They're going to have to be real. The one-on-ones mostly should be cinematic, obviously, to protect him.
Or you've got to have a match like him and Omega or something, where it's like.
Yeah, but that's.
But even
now
then,
you're looking and it's like.
But even then, it's like one-on-one. He's 62. Like, let's be honest. For 62, he's in great shape. Can he go?
That's the thing is, like, does he have to?
Yeah.
Just because you have Sting doesn't mean he ever has to be anywhere near a title picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's special enough where you don't need that. He doesn't need that. And I don't know that those guys that he would be working need the Sting rub. Give it to the other people, Omega doesn't need a Sting rub. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Miro doesn't need the Sting rub. Well,
it's funny though, like a guy
it's
like
the Darbys and the what's his name, Scorpio,
Yeah.
and those guys need it. The Ethan Page.
which is funny because a guy like Miro is the guy you want working with him. Somebody who has been on the top,
Yeah.
and is going to protect the shit out of him. And a guy like Miro is not going to call stupid Seth Rollins spots.
That's true.
Um,
Maybe that was a bad example. I only threw him out
yeah.
because he currently holds one of the
You
belts.
want the people that are working with Sting to get the maximum out of Sting, both with the exposure and what you can do in the ring. Because you can say what you want when you see Sting on the fucking ring, you want Sting. You don't want doddering old man Sting. You want Sting. So you want to put him in the ring with the people that can work around him and give you Sting. And a guy like Miro is 100%. Kenny Omega's a bad example, by the way, because I don't think a guy like Omega could work a match with Sting without trying to get all the stupid nonsense in.
Yeah.
And that's not how Sting can't work that.
He it's going to be interesting because he's 62. So if they have like a 3-year deal, things aren't going to improve in that time.
What I'm wondering,
they should just keep sending him literally any minute that he's not in Jacksonville, he should be in South America getting like experimental stem cells and whatever else, just injecting his whole body with them.
I'm interested to see if they do anything with him and some of the older guys there, mixed tag stuff.
You don't want it to be like you're watching what's the thing, the golf, when they have the old you know what I mean?
The senior tour?
Yeah. You know, it's like,
but you could have a moment like, don't tell me it wouldn't be cool to see like him and Jake having like a moment, like a
they
spot.
have
okay,
like eye to eyes or a little bit of a promo back and forth. He's the one. Sting's the one. See, you don't watch. Sting's the one that got into his boy's face, Archer, and said, "You are good enough to do something about it," and kind of in that storyline lit a fire under Archer and kind of made Archer have a kind of a face turn.
Yeah.
Because he got inspired by Sting a little bit by that, but Jake's still with him, so whatever. But yes, you can do that stuff. Also, I mean, there's got to be there's horsemen running around backstage. But I don't think Sting had history with the horsemen. So here's the beautiful thing.
Only one of them can actually do anything medically.
Well, Tully was wrestling, which was great.
Yeah.
Tully and Arn are there.
Arn can't do shit.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm getting to something. Tully and Arn are there. They just signed Andrade.
Oh my God!
Who's seeing Charlotte, and whose father's Ric Flair.
Woo!
Now, what are the odds while Andrade's there? At some point, one day, that Charlotte isn't visiting him backstage and hanging out, and the old man isn't there too, and now you have 3 of the 4 horsemen.
Isn't Flair under
you could go find a
contract to not
Charlotte?
No, Rick.
To what? Go in the back and visit someone?
Well, yeah, you can have backstage stuff, but you can never have Ric Flair on TV.
I don't know that. How often do they use him on TV? I don't know that he's under any ironclad nothing. He might be not signed.
I can't imagine
he might be under a Legends
isn't getting paid.
Listen, if guys like Bret Hart and Mick Foley can show up on AEW, I think Flair can.
Yeah.
So my point is that how hard is it to go get a Wyndham or someone of the ilk to all be there for just a moment? Maybe they honor the 4 horsemen one night.
You're missing Zoli.
Well, you're missing a lot of people. Anyone could be the 4th horseman. There were a lot of horsemen during the times.
I know.
Wasn't even Sting one for like a fucking heartbeat?
Probably in the fucking
I know
WCW.
Luger was.
Benoit.
You can't. Maybe
Mongo.
Listen, Mongo's having his problems. Why don't you bring him in, honor him, do a night? It's some of the other horsemen there. You know, obviously you're not getting Benoit. We do have a 4th horseman there. Dean Malenko's there. I mean, listen, he was in it with Arn and fucking Flair.
Isn't Dean in bad shape though?
Yeah, he's got the shakes, but they've shown him on TV.
Okay.
They've used him as part of the angle when with this feud with the Pinnacle and Jericho's group. One night they tied Dean up to something and like, oh, we got your boy here, yeah, blah blah blah, you know, to Jericho. So they all they need is Flair, and they've got 4 horsemen. They've brought Dylan in for stuff already.
Dylan,
they could bring him in again. What was it? Were you watching that? I think J.J. Dillon did an appearance on AEW, and after it, I think somebody fucking shot on him a little bit. He was like Dylan got the mic, was starting to say something. Someone else yanked it. He goes, "You're not getting paid extra for that," and like something. I don't know if it was on WWE or
I didn't see that, but that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's funny.
It was like someone made a joke afterwards after Dylan spoke. You're not getting paid extra for that.
That's funny. Holy shit.
So you know, I don't. We've had this meandering AEW conversation.
Yeah,
but I think the Horsemen, like, I don't know if you could call them the 4 Horsemen. Technically, I guess you can. You know, I don't know. As long as they're not selling T-shirts, I guess maybe.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Just having the four of them there, even if you never say the words four and horsemen
Yeah,
together.
you see the horsemen together. It's the horsemen. It's
Right.
kind of the thing.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's you couldn't. Oh, there's the stagecoachmen. Like, you couldn't do anything fucking stupid like that. Okay. Oh yeah, I don't know. How much more wrestling you want to talk.
I'm done.
Okay. We ready to get out of here?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks
Look
for
at
listening.
what a great transition. So smooth.
Yeah, I gotta go get food.
All right.
All right, everybody. Till next week. Bye bye.